Hi, everyone. My name is Kenny K. Royal.
And I'm Mariah Carey, the queen of Christmas.
We were just talking about her at work yesterday because they were trying to play. They were trying to play music in our like little graduation thing from training, and Cynthia was trying to play the graduation music, that dun dun dun, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And she couldn't, for whatever reason, her phone wasn't working, and so Jose was like, "I got it." And then I started playing Mariah Carey. And I was like, I don't know. This is graduation music. But,
like what song?
It was, not Santa Baby. What's the one, the most famous one? I can't get it in my head right now.
A Mariah Carey song?
Yes, the Christmas song.
All I Want for Christmas Is You?
Probably, yeah. That's what it was. I was thinking because of the way that it begins. I was trying to get the way it begins in my head. And he started playing that.
All I want for Christmas.
And so we were just like, okay. How we go from graduation to Christmas music, but whatever. So how you doing, Mariah?
Well, I wanted to bring Mariah up because if you don't know, it finally went to number 1. All I Want for Christmas Is You.
I've seen that.
So
I didn't know that it wasn't the way that it's so big.
It's
how
so
could it
big,
not?
But I mean, it'd be number 1 on the holiday chart, but not on Billboard. It made it to number 3 last year, so it finally made it to number 1 this year, due to the 25th anniversary of Merry Christmas. And she put out a new music video for it and everything.
Did not know that.
It's a cute video.
I just knew that that they were talking about it going number 1. And I didn't pay much attention to it because I was so confused. I was like, how has it not been? I thought they just meant like this year finally got there, not just overall.
Every year it goes to number 1 on the holiday charts. They basically say that chart was created for Mariah Carey, because I think that it was made after she made Merry Christmas, and she tops it every year.
Well,
so it's
she has the most
Carey
famous Christmas music, I feel.
Well, yeah.
So like, I mean, there are a lot of people that have great Christmas music, and we were discussing this last night. So Christina Aguilera Christmas song came on, and I love Christina Aguilera's voice, but I don't like any of her Christmas music.
No,
because Christmas music. I just don't feel like Christmas music is supposed to be like kind of subtle and smooth, and Mariah Carey always overdoes her singing, and it sounds fine with her music because it's written to be like that.
Yeah.
But the Christmas music she's trying to sing is not written to be like that, so she ends up over singing and on parts that don't need to be, and so it kind of takes me out of it. And
did they play "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas"? Because I do not like her rendition of that.
I feel like that's what it was, because it was just like a random Christmas playlist that they put on.
But they just put it on.
And
see, I don't do random Christmas lists. Aaron be trying to do that, and I keep telling Aaron, you got to make your own list. These people don't know good Christmas music.
Oh, I want to watch Mariah Carey's video though. You said it's cute?
It's cute. I liked it. It's a big production. If you remember the original, it was just her playing in the snow and stuff like that. Yeah. But this one is actually like choreography, and it's kind of got a little bit of a storyline, and not like a full on story, but it's got like, it's cute the way they did it. It's basically like this little mixed race girl. She goes to like an apartment store, like in New York, where they have the big windows you can see inside. And so Mariah Carey is like a mannequin in the window, and then like she winks at the girl, and all of a sudden like the whole thing opens up in this whole winter wonderland, and it's like all these like dancers and people doing all this stuff, and Mariah Carey being Mariah Carey.
Yeah.
And it goes through that whole thing, and then and her kids are in it. I think her dog is in it, and it's just really pretty. And then it ends with like the parents find the little girl and like, girl, come on, we gotta go.
If not Christina. Well, I keep saying Christina's name. I wonder if Mariah Carey's like bank account just like doubles every December.
From what I read, they said she made like $60 million off of All I Want for Christmas.
Child.
And
I just would love to do one thing that makes me that much money.
Right? Every year.
Right.
You don't have to do nothing else. Like every year, I'm going to get paid by December.
Right.
I already know.
I don't got to make it through these other 11 months.
Well, I mean, if you're making $60 million, then you should be able to make it. I think
you got a terrible gambling problem.
Yeah. I mean, not only that, because of course she's the queen of Christmas, and she's always making money for that, but all of her songs have longevity. There's a Mariah Carey song playing somewhere all the time. Like, you can't get away from it. It's in movies. Definitely can't get away from Hero. I mean, for every little sappy movie they want to play Hero. And then of course you got Fantasy, and then you got Dream Lover and Honey. And I mean,
when you say Honey, I wanted to start singing Honey, Honey. Totally different artist, totally different song.
Completely.
But so this week on the podcast, we're just gonna have a bunch of Christmas topics for you guys. Not gonna be really any like what is it, like celebrity talk or anything like, or pop culture talk, because I just wanted to make it a little bit more festive for you guys. I mean, I feel like we can't help but bringing it up if like a topic goes to it.
Christmas trivia.
Yes. We're gonna have some Christmas trivia on both ends here, but mine is gonna be a little bit darker. And Kimo has 4. I have 14. So
14.
Yes.
I would have gotten more.
No. So what I'm gonna do is, because not all of them are worthy of discussing in depth.
Okay.
I feel so. I'm gonna go over 3, and then I'll have you do yours, and I'll do 3 more, and you do yours, and 3 more, and we just figure it out after that.
Okay. All right.
So I'm gonna start off first, so I can get ahead of it.
All right.
My list is the 14 of the most disturbing Christmas crimes in U.S. history.
I don't know what's festive about that bitch.
It's nice to be reminded.
Just reminded how horrible people are.
Exactly. So, number 1, the case of the so-called stolen chocolate. This happened in Georgia.
Okay.
Oh, also, this isn't one of my topics. I just wanted to bring up. Did you know the Ku Klux Klan was founded on Christmas?
Really? I did not know
Yes,
that.
it was. Hold on. Let me, because this is going to be what I was going to talk about, and then I found that list, and I was like, oh, wait, hold up. Where is it? So, Christmas hardly, I'm going to read what this says verbatim. It says, Christmas hardly seems like the perfect day to form a hate group, but sure enough, that's what happened on Christmas Eve in 1865 in Pulaski, Tennessee.
Yeah.
A group of men who previously served in the Confederate Army got together to chat. They put together a brand new group meant to uphold white supremacy and to reverse the government's equal rights work after the Civil War. They wanted to make sure black people didn't get rights and that the South could continue with segregation. The group was known as the Ku Klux Klan. To this day, the hate group has members across the United States. And I was like, really? I would just love to know the conversation that was being had, where you were just like, you know what, it would be a good day to start this? Christmas.
Well, I feel like more than likely, they probably was like, okay, we're finna sit down and talk about all the people we hate. And, because maybe I'm sure to them that's really festive.
Yeah.
And so in that meeting, they were like, you know what, we need to start a group. You know what we're going to call it? The Ku Klux Klan. And you know who we're going to target? Black people.
I just would love to know how they made that name. Does that mean something?
I'm sure it does to somebody.
But back to the case I was talking about. So it's the case of the so-called stolen chocolate. A man dressed as Saint Nick at the Atlanta Mall lost his patience in the worst way in 2004. His temper got the best of him, and he allegedly began to hit an elderly 74-year-old woman with a 2x4. Convinced she had stolen over $100 worth of Hershey's chocolate from him. The woman died from injuries in the hospital, and Clark was sentenced to life in prison. I saw this, and I was just thinking to myself, like, I cannot imagine being in the store and seeing this man run after this old lady and start beating her with a 2x4.
I just don't even know what to think.
Because you thought she stole $100 worth of Hershey's chocolate from you, and was that gonna bankrupt you, bitch?
Did they elicit that woman's death? I'm sure there was no evidence in regards to that.
I guess it wasn't, since he had his head got hauled off to jail. Well, I mean, even if it was evidence,
that would anyway.
Yeah. Number 2, the case of Santa on a motorcycle. In 2006, in Columbia, South Carolina, when a man dressed up in full Santa costume riding a decked-out motorcycle pulled up to a gas station and asked a family if they wanted to see the stuffed reindeer he had in the sidecar. The children walked up to take a closer look when suddenly this man grabbed the 8-year-old girl and sped off. Panicked, the father furiously chased after them and was able to retrieve his daughter. The Santa imposter was arrested. Again, a lot of these seem to have things with people in Santa costumes, so I just want to get y'all braced for that.
I mean, I figured it would be.
And the last I'm going to do before you get to your trivia is the case of taking candy from a Santa, and this is in Ohio. Everyone knows not to take candy from strangers, but what about taking candy canes from Santa Claus? It was 2009 in Parma, Ohio, when a 12-year-old girl was flagged down by Santa, hiding in the bushes, offering her Christmas candy. The girl was wise enough to ignore this attempt, and when the man in the Santa costume began chasing her, she made it to the local store just in time to call the police. The man was identified as mentally unstable and was later caught still wearing his suit. My thing is, I don't care what you're wearing. If I see you in motherfucking bushes, I'm running. Especially if you beckoning me from the bushes. Why?
I don't see how that sounds intriguing to anybody. I mean, to me, if you're anybody, anything, any mass that's hiding in the shadows trying to get my attention, I am going the other way.
Right? Hey, just come over here. I gotta talk to you. Why can't you talk to me in the light?
I don't need to talk. You know what? Matter of fact, I don't have a voice.
Right?
Cut my tongue out right now. Oh my God. So we are familiar about in the way that the Americans celebrate Christmas and the way we do it with our traditions. So in Germany and some of the other Western, like European countries, of course, they have more like St. Nicholas. Mm-hmm. And so St. Nicholas comes on the night from the 5th and the 6th of December, where children have their boots shined and cleaned in front of a door or window. Then he will leave toys, nuts, oranges, apples, and chocolate for the
oranges?
Good. Yeah.
On Christmas?
I mean, we do that here.
Do we?
In the South.
I never seen oranges. Like, when you say apples, I think about apple pie. So I'm like, okay, that's a dessert. People use that for Christmas as well. But oranges just really threw me the fuck off.
No, around Christmas time, my grandparents, they get nuts, apples, oranges, and have them out. It's for you to eat and enjoy for Christmas. And even like when you go to church, they give you a bag with candy canes, oranges, apples, and nuts.
This is an abomination.
I like it. So, anyway, toys, nuts, oranges, apples, and chocolate for the good children. And the bad children get a branch to be used by the children to punish them with. Wait,
a branch to give to the good kids to punish the bad kids?
To give to the parents.
Oh, to hit, okay.
To whoop them.
Okay,
basically a switch.
All right.
Nah, you need to get your ass whooped for Christmas.
I guess I was going to say, would you prefer
I prefer cold.
I was going to say, would you prefer the cold over that?
Yes. Unless we going to take that branch and hide it. unless the parents start throwing the coal at you.
Right.
It's a different thing. Like, no.
I had asked last night at the party. I was like, I forgot what we were talking about, but we came around and we were talking about stockings. Okay. And I was like, has anybody actually ever gotten cold in their stockings? And Solomon, of course, was like, I did. And I was just like, that's because you're a terrible human. I can just see your mother doing that. But I've never gotten cold in a stocking. Like, when we've had stockings, I always get, like, just candies and little small toys and stuff.
Yeah, candy.
Just little minutia. But,
yeah.
I've never known or seen somebody get cold. I'm just like, who goes out of their way to do that?
I think, I don't know if, I haven't gone into, of course, haven't done any research in regards to that. Mm-hmm. But I think definitely in modern day, like when we're growing up, I don't think anybody was. I think it was more of a legend, like most things, like Krampus or whatever, just to get you to be good so that,
Krampus was also a thing I've never heard of until I became an adult.
Yeah, I didn't hear about Krampus until recently, but I'm assuming because that's like more of an overseas thing. But
I was about to say something else. I thought that was more of a white person thing.
I mean... Basically,
yeah,
this is where they are.
Because I think the first time I heard of it was from either one of those cartoons that had like a Christmas special.
The first time I heard of Krampus was American Dad. Because they had Krampus and he was singing it, Sheila!
Sheila hurt his heart so damn bad. Like, every song got tied back to Sheila.
About Sheila. Like, okay, who is Sheila? Can we meet her?
But he looked just like Dennis. That damn Dennis.
Damn Dennis. And then, of course, they had those Krampus movies that came out around the same time.
Did you see any of them?
I saw two of them. I'm assuming those are the only two that I know about, so I don't know if there's any more. Now, I saw two of them. I mean, they're okay.
I didn't like them.
They're okay. I mean, they're not the best scary movies. They're kind of poorly written. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't expecting a lot from them. I wouldn't expect a lot. There was only one like Christmas movie that I can think of that was scary, that was really good, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was like Santa Claus was getting attacked, and like and doing all these things, and he was getting ready for war, and he was like killing all these elves. I think the elves were going bad, and then the twist was it was a man that was dressed as Santa Claus, but he had lost his mind, and he was in a mall actually shooting a whole bunch of innocent people.
Oh my God!
So, but in his mind, it was like these demons and people were trying to get him and killing his elves and turning them evil or something, and they were turning against him. And so, yeah, he was just in the mall killing folks. And so that was like the biggest twist I have ever seen in a movie.
And what was this?
I don't know the name of it. I saw it on Netflix. If I can find it, I will link you in here into it. But it was a mess.
That sounds crazy as fuck.
Yes, I wasn't expecting that. I'm over here like, oh my God, Santa finna die, and then all of a sudden, like right when like whoever's gonna break in, like the police is snatching this man up out the mall, and you're like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
All these dead people. I was like, oh my God.
I don't think this happened on Christmas. But in my mind, I see a lot of snow, and it looked like it was wintertime because the way people were dressed. But we watched the new Child's Play movie, and the movie. So the trailers, because we've seen the trailers, we really wanted to see it because it looked like they were doing something very interesting with the character.
Yeah.
The movie was not good whatsoever.
I've heard nothing but bad things about it.
I haven't even seen any reviews about it.
Yep.
The thing was, the primary issue was that they didn't take the source material serious, and you can tell from watching it because
they made the trailer look so good.
They did, because I thought it'd be really a nice take on this toy, and not because the original Chucky is the dog got possessed by a spirit.
Yeah.
And this was more like technology, which is more if you're gonna like try to make it realized, that's better for this time frame or this age that we're in.
Yeah. Like everybody's kind of gone past the occult, because that was very occult with the dude with the talisman and all of the witchcraft and whatever, and like people kind of gotten past that. It's not as popular now.
Think of what Chucky says, like Di Bala.
Yeah,
I summon your power, come into me, or whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah.
But the original, like the way that they did this one, they still had the little boy. His name was Andy. Of course, the thing's name was Chucky. But the way they went about it was very weird. The way he got his name. So the way he got his name.
Because when they just call like Buddy or something?
Yeah, they're just called little buddies or something like that. But they were supposed to try to give them a name, and Andy had said to him, he was like, "What are you, Han Solo or something like that?" Just Star Wars reference because Mark Hamill was in it. But
of course,
like, "What are you, Han Solo or something?" And then he had said, "He was like, no, he named him. He said, I'm gonna name you Han Solo." And he was like, "Great, my name's Chucky."
Great.
He's like, that sounds nothing like what I just said to you. But they tried to make it like they tried to put too much comedy in it for one.
Okay.
A lot of it was awkward comedy. They were trying to make these kids be funny, but they were not funny. Like it wasn't funny at all, and it was very much so. It seemed forced, forced comedy.
What tends to happen.
And the doll wasn't scary. Like Chucky was scary. When you go back and think about those old movies, Chucky was scary. He was horrifying. He just looked weird. Like his face and the shape, the way that they made the doll look, just looked weird. Like it was unsettling. I'll say that. Okay. It wasn't scary. It was unsettling.
Unsettling. I have because I remember I used to hate Chucky. I didn't like dolls anyway. And I remember my parents had got me a Chucky doll, and I threw that bitch away. Like, we're not having this in my house. And I remember because my grandma used to collect dolls and do all this type of stuff. And dolls creeped me out. And I remember being fucking horrified of the Puppet Master. Like, oh my God. Like,
I know the Puppet Master, but I can't remember shit about it.
It was like these little killer puppet doll things that was going fucking people up, and I was like, no. It's like one of those things where it's kind of like when you think of Toy Story, where they like don't move when you're paying anything attention to them, and as soon as you turn it back, they over here slicing your fucking Achilles heel.
Oh God, that is like one of the worst things to see in a movie. Every time that part, like a movie shows that. I want to talk about empathy.
I was like, please no.
But like I said, with the Chucky movie, it's just very clear they didn't take the source material serious. They were trying to make too many jokes. And quite honestly, I felt that if they were going to make a movie, they should have just went in with the original people. Like, I was all here for doing some doing some different things. Mm-hmm. But if this is what the outcome is going to be, let's go get the original people back and let's put some money behind this and make Chucky, like, reinvent Chucky that way. I'm sure all those people that were in those movies still, because they're still doing it when it's just going straight to Netflix. So they obviously love that work. They love that that series. So if they're still doing it, just go ahead and grab those people and like let's elevate this a bit and change the thing. Because you can still have the original guy that played Chucky and just make it so that the Chucky dolls are now getting to a point where they are doing things with technology. And so you could have just made it so that this doll that Chucky normally has been amplified. Now he has all these little things where he's connecting to the app now for the modern day people and kids or whatever. Yeah. Like, you could have definitely just did that. But I feel like for y'all to just erase it all, I see why, what's her name that played Tiffany?
Jennifer Tilly.
Yeah, Jennifer Tilly was so adamant against this.
To me, like I said, like I said, the trailer looked really good. Mm-hmm. And what I was getting from it, to me, was a good idea. The whole idea of it being, an AI. And, of course, we've already had movies that have shown that, like iRobot or like 2001 Space Odyssey, like where the technology gets so smart that it kind of runs over you, Mm-hmm. And so I don't mind that aspect of it. I haven't seen it, so I don't know the in and outs of what made it look bad. But
what made them bad was so they all, because the dolls have all this technology and then they had to put in protocols into their coding, and it was like things where they don't harm humans and stuff like that. Like, take all these things
most robots.
Yeah, they'll take all that kind of stuff out. And so this one dude, I guess he was like sitting down daydreaming. One of the guys is like working in a warehouse. He was sitting down daydreaming, and then his boss came over and was like, "Bitch, you daydreaming again?" It was like, "You want to get your ass fired?" Like, just berating him. And so the guy got pissed off when he walked away, and he went into this one Chucky that he was working on, and he started taking all those coatings off. So the dog could do whatever the fuck it felt like doing. And so he started doing all that, and I don't know if they were trying to go back to that spiritual aspect of the dog being possessed, because right after he did all that, the dog got packaged up. But then the next scene, when you see the dogs getting put on the truck, he like jumps off a building and kills himself, and like he just slams against his car. And I didn't see a transition of like, oh, some spiritual things are happening. It just like went to the next scene. So I really don't know if they're trying to play off of that or what it is. I know at the end of the movie they tried to make it seem like they can please don't make another one. Listen. Please don't make another one of these movies. Leave it alone.
I haven't heard a single good review about it. As far as people who've seen it, they were very disappointed. I wonder how much it made. People were very disappointed about that movie. Is everyone that I saw talk about it.
Did Grace do a review on it?
I'm sure she probably did. I don't think I saw it though.
Let me look this up. I just want to see. Child's Play. Was it 2019? Yeah. Well, did it come out this year? Or was it last year?
It came out this year, didn't it?
Oh yeah, I see 2019 right there.
Yeah.
And what is it, like box office?
Yeah.
Child, I'm sure it's gonna be terrible. Well, it says it has grossed $29.2 million, but I guess that is low for it to be out this long. Well, I see her calling me, girl. We are recording, girl.
We are recording, girl.
Anyway, let me go ahead and hop on to my next three.
All right.
Where the fuck they go? Okay, so the case of Santa Claus burglary. Where is it? A visit from Santa is usually a joyous occasion, especially when he is collecting for charity. A 22-year-old woman living in Birmingham thought this was the exact scenario when a man dressed as Santa knocked on her door. Unfortunately, his intentions were much darker. He hit her in the face before attempting to rob her. He fled the premises shortly after. This is another one. So just remember this picture.
Oh, okay.
You get a good look at that picture?
I see.
Okay. The case of the most infamous Christmas bank robbery.
Oh, okay.
The crime is almost 100 years old, but it's still quite baffling. In fact, it's still considered to be one of the most notorious robberies in history. A man by the name of Marshall Ratliff walked into Cisco's First National Bank in a full Santa costume, accompanied by 3 armed men. He was able to escape with the money, taking 3 girls as hostage. His car ran out of gas shortly after, and he had to abandon his loot. He was arrested and sentenced to 99 years in prison, but an angry mob invaded the prison and lynched him. Interestingly enough, the above image was used in hopes of identifying the criminal. So they use this
Is
to try
that
to
just
look
a
for him.
standard Santa?
It is. It is like all y'all that are listening, the picture is literally just like that old school drawing, like what Coke used.
Yeah, the Coca-Cola Santa.
Yeah, the Coca-Cola Santa. They took that picture, said, "This is who we looking for," and I'm just like, how incompetent were the cops?
Anybody.
And what was this? These 100 years ago, almost 100 years. So y'all really sat there. It was 1919, I guess.
Yeah, 1919.
Talking about let's find the Coca-Cola Santa.
I can't.
Hey, could you imagine though robbing a bank, like getting the guts to rob a bank, and then like you like, oh, I got this money trying to escape, and your fucking car ran out of gas. Like whose job was it to make sure that the gas was fueled?
I wonder if like the cars back then like did not have big enough gas tanks. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he forgot to hit up the gas station before he got there. You know, maybe they didn't have a reliable barometer.
And it just shot down. Said it was full. Then 2 seconds later, it wasn't.
Yeah, maybe that was it.
And then the last one, the case of the disorderly mall Santa. It was 2005 when a 52-year-old woman was appeared at Rockingham Park Mall. I guess that's what that is, in a full Santa costume. For some reason or another, he decided it would be a good idea to drop his pants in front of everyone. Fortunately, he was wearing sweatpants underneath his costume. Nevertheless, he was arrested for disorderly conduct. Would that be considered disorderly conduct if you pulling your pants down and it's just sweatpants underneath? He didn't expose himself.
Personally wouldn't think so because he had pants on underneath. I mean,
I guess they're like just the thought that you were gonna try it.
Maybe for the time. How long ago was that?
Let me look it up again. 2005?
Oh, well, never mind.
You thought it was like 19 something?
I mean, yeah, if it was then they probably were like, oh, this is undergarments. You know, but
treat them like a woman.
I don't see...
Where you can't show your ankles.
But yeah, where you can't show your ankles or your wrists or your hair. Like, I was like, oh, this hair is going to really turn the man on.
Right? Like, what is this hair doing for him?
So, as we're all aware and are familiar with poinsettias, we got quite a few poinsettias on our Christmas tree, but they're leopard print.
As they should be.
As they should be, because, you know, that's how they are found in nature.
Could you imagine actually walking up on one leopard print?
Leopard print. Oh, my God. So, that is, of course, the Christmas traditional flower. It originally grows in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah. And, it's also known as the flower of the Holy Night. Joe Poinsett was the first one to bring it to America in 1829.
Until you stole something from Mexico and brought it up here. And was like, listen, we're going to make this our tradition.
Yeah, and then they named it after him. So I wonder what's the actual name
of the flower, like what they call it in Mexico.
Yeah, because they just named it after him.
Yeah. Unless, was it in an area that like nobody, was he the first one to discover it?
I doubt it. I mean, all those Mexicans in Mexico, this white man goes to Mexico and discovers something. I doubt it. Although I'm sure he believed he did.
I was confused about a conversation at work the other day that people were having about poinsettias because this guy was talking about how they have a tradition on Christmas Eve. I think he said his grandmother does. She makes all of the like cousins and all her grandkids essentially come with her to Home Depot to buy poinsettias. Okay. And apparently Home Depot only lets you buy 5 at a time.
Do they?
Which I was like, why? But
I guess because it's really popular right now. They don't want you to take them all.
Maybe, I guess. But he said that they only let her buy 5 at a time. And so she can't like go in and get them and then come back out and go back and get some more. It's like if they recognize you, bitch, you're done. So so what she's been doing is she gets like 10 of her grandkids to come with her because she likes to get them and give them out for her employees. Yeah. So she gets 5 herself, then she gets out of line, then her grandson gets 5 himself, then her granddaughter gets 5 herself, and then just keep going down the line. And it's like, they all customers, you can't stop them.
Yeah. I mean, true.
But the way they were saying it, because this one, he has said, because those poinsettias are huge. And I was like, are they?
Huge like what?
I don't know.
Anytime I see poinsettias, they're in a probably... I mean, they're not that big.
I'm about to put Home Depot poinsettias.
Because when I see them, they be in a little like pot, typically. Like if you're getting the real ones.
If you ain't shitting, bitch, get off the pot. I'm sorry.
Let's see, they're a little small pot like that. I see how they're huge. They're probably about.
Joe, what tree is this? Is it a tree of poinsettias?
Is it?
I guess it takes a decade to load. Oh my God.
It is a tree of poinsettias. How much that cost?
$40.
I was expecting more than that.
Oh, were you?
It looks pretty
44.
expensive.
It may be small. You know, it may be just
It
looking big right now, and then
small.
we get it and it be the
then
size
we
of
get
this fucking
it
microphone.
tiny. And you're like, what the fuck? But yeah, I say poinsettia about the size of the microphone.
But he made it, when he said they were huge, he made it seem like you wouldn't be able to carry it yourself, the way he was like describing it, which was confusing to me. Because when we were asking like why you could only buy 5 at a time, that was his reasoning. He was like, because those things are huge. And I was like, I don't.
They're not huge. I mean, but you have a basket.
He had me questioning.
Not like they walking around. I mean, put them in a basket and you go off.
He had me fucking questioning if I knew what the fucking poinsettia was. I was like, do I not know what a poinsettia is? And I've been thinking of something wrong this whole time.
No.
I'm going to also look up really quickly the name of poinsettia, but I feel like I'm not going to be able to get that answer quick enough.
The original name?
The original name of a poinsettia. Take a guess.
For me to take a guess?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know Mexican words.
I don't know Mexican words.
Spanish words.
Oh, it doesn't say. It's also, it is known there as flor de, I don't know how to say this last word, pascura, meaning eater flower or Easter flower.
Oh, okay.
Poinsettias have also been called the lobster flower and the flame leaf flower due to the red color. Poinsettias received their name in the United States in honor of Joel Roberts Poinsett, who introduced the plant into the country in 1828.
Okay, now you just repeating things I already said.
I just read what Google had. My deepest condolences. So the next one is the case of the Italian Hall disaster. And this was in 1913. The 1913 Italian Hall disaster might have happened over a century ago, but it's a tale that continues to cause despair. It was Christmas Eve in Calumet, Michigan. Well, there was a Calumet, Chicago, or not Chicago, Calumet, Illinois as well. Anyway, Michigan, when a group of striking mine workers and their families were gathered for the holiday. An unidentified person falsely yelled out fire, and the result was disastrous. In an effort to evacuate the building, 73 were killed due to the stampede that ensued. If 73 people died, I just want to know how many people were in there altogether. Right. Because when they said that it was like mine workers and their families, it seemed like it was like a little small gathering of people. But for 73 people to die, I'm just like, well, if that's not everybody.
That sounds like more than a gathering.
Yes. It's like a concert.
Quite some gathering.
I wonder, was that law where you can't scream fire in like a crowded place done after or before this? Because I feel like that's an event that would cause that to become a law.
Could be.
Yeah.
Like this was the reason.
Because why would you do that? Like, you just have to be an ass to be like, you know what I'm gonna do today? Scream fire to these people while they're having a good Christmas dinner.
You know, you get too many white people in a room. One idiot to do something stupid. No, I'm just be honest. Because more than any other person, and all the time, all the people that I've known, the people who like to do the pranks the most are white people. And they just find any dumb reason to do it for any, just to make somebody's life terrible. Yeah. And so typically it's going to be just some stupid ass dude who's going to be like, you know what would be funny? Death. Because that's really what it ended up being.
Death seems like a real comedian right now.
I mean, that's what it really, I don't understand pranks. I don't like them. I don't do them. And that's why I if I realize that you're a pranker, I will not talk to you.
Yeah. Let's not go down this road together.
No.
Number 8, the case of the most unusual Christmas gift. Parents can sometimes be at a loss when it comes to finding the perfect gift for their children. A man in Sequal thought, I don't know where Sequal is. Is that a country? Is that
Sequal?
It just because it's not like Sequal followed up by a state, so I don't think it's a city. Oh no, because Louisiana. I guess it's Sequal, Louisiana. Okay. I mean, y'all could have specified that. But anyway, a man in Sedale thought he had the perfect solution. According to police reports, he robbed a pet store, taking the cash register and a couple of snakes. When he was asked by the police why he committed the crime, he said it was for his son's Christmas present. And I'm like, was the money the Christmas present, or was the snakes the Christmas present?
I feel like the snakes were the Christmas present.
So why'd you take the money? I guess he was like,
wow,
when in Rome.
I'm here.
That was the last one that I read, like, before I decided, okay, this I'm going to use.
Okay.
So this one, I saw the title, and I didn't read it, though. This, The Case of the Stolen Baby Jesus.
Okay. And what you going to do with it?
A stolen baby Jesus from a nativity scene. It's an all too common Christmas crime. Is it? Are people just always stealing baby Jesus?
Is it like a tradition for some people? You know, like some people like, again, white people, like to steal things as a tradition, or like people.
A tradition?
Yeah, like for instance, like when they do like crimes, like egging people's houses.
Yeah.
And who does that?
Yeah.
Right. So I'm sure it's probably somebody who's it's a tradition for them to steal the baby Jesus. I bet it is. Be like, oh, if you see a nativity scene, you got to steal the baby Jesus. And be like, okay,
seems unnecessary.
All of it's unnecessary.
Yeah. Let's see. Two common Christmas crime. One case, which happened in Florida in 2007, was particularly unusual. When an 18-year-old woman from Florida stole, I don't know why I thought that was like the city. I'm like, what? Anyway, the ceramic figure, she assumed her crime would go unpunished. Little did she know that the figure was actually rigged with the GPS system, and the cops quickly found out about her shenanigans. It's hard to tell what's more disturbing, the crime of stealing the baby or the assumption that the figure would need a GPS monitor in the first place. When I read that GPS part, my face frowned up. I'm like,
that means it's happening a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they're so, I feel
if
like
they go out of their way to put a GPS thing in it.
I feel like what I assessed may be true. I honestly do is probably some kids or some like frats or whatever, you know, tradition to do some stupid shit like that. I would believe it.
But okay. So let's say it is a tradition, which it seems like it, especially if they're putting GPS trackers in these bitches now. Yeah. What are we doing with it after? Are we just like bringing it home and this is now part of our like Christmas tree, or do you also have a nativity scene and this is the one part you need? Like,
I mean, I probably think they wouldn't do anything with it. It's all for the thrill of doing it. Like most things, like when you know people who shoplift, they don't shoplift because they need the clothes. They shoplift for the thrill of it.
Like Lois and Family Guy.
Yeah.
When she was like up in there about to come on herself from selling all that shit.
Yeah, I knew people like that. Back when I was in high school, you'd be these rich kids who go and steal just for the hell of it. And I mean, they don't have any intention of wearing the clothes. They don't even care what they steal. They just want to steal, you know?
I don't get that at all. Like, you need a thrill, bitch. Go jerk off in public somewhere.
That's a crime too.
Yeah. Go to a nude beach and jerk off. Is it a crime to do it at a nude beach?
I mean, people say
because it's when you
fucking nude beaches. So
yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not illegal.
I mean, they're already naked.
That's where my question's stemming from, because I'm like, okay, the crime in jerking off in public is indecent exposure.
Yeah.
And when you're at a nude beach, it's not indecent exposure because that's the point of a nude beach. Yeah.
But the thing is, I don't know. I mean,
like, are the police gonna come over there and be like, we said you could be naked, not fucking?
I'm very sure the police is staying far away. If it was a nude beach of just hot, sexy bodies, I'd love to be on one. But that's not the case.
That's not the case. So anytime you ever see like things of nude beaches, like if you see a porn with nude beach in it, you usually will see. It'll be like the hot people that are doing things together, and then if you catch people walking by in the background, it's like this old flabby white man walking by with his small flaccid dick, staring it down.
To see this,
right? And it's just like,
so no.
Just like the I think these are mostly places in Florida where it's like the nudist colonies and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and there's just a bunch of old fucking white people too, and I'm just like, why is it when it becomes a nudist thing, all the old people want to show up?
I don't know. Maybe
can we let's segregate this. Let's have the old nude beach.
To be honest, I mean, I've never really cared to really go to a nude beach. I don't really feel the need to just be naked in front of a bunch of people. But, the thought of it, if I didn't want to go, I wouldn't do it if I was old. I would, if I was going to do it, I would have done it when I was young. And then I would leave my old ass at home. I'm trying to show anybody my dangling balls. That would not be me. But, of course, the whole point of it is, I guess, to be liberated. And I guess if they need that, then you go ahead.
Bitch, liberate yourself in your bathroom.
Find other ways.
This last one, and then I just have 4 more, right? Because 14, yeah. Mm-hmm. The case of the intoxicated Saint Nick. Volunteering to drive a Christmas float for local holiday parade is a generous act. That is, until alcohol is factored into the mix. A man from South Carolina was drinking while driving a float only meant to go a few miles per hour, speeding at nearly 60 miles per hour. 60 miles at a parade. This is for a parade. 60 miles per hour at a parade is a fast as fuck. 60 miles per hour, period, is fast. But everybody's moving slow at parades. Yeah. So you are mowing people down, I feel like. He was charged with intoxicated driving, open container, and a few more charges for his horrifying behavior.
Manslaughter at some point.
Yeah, I was wondering if they're going to put it in here because I can't see him speeding off like that and nobody getting hit.
Nobody getting hit, yeah.
Unless this is like a parade of 6 people. Yeah. But at that point, that's just a block party.
We call that a parade. But I don't see how he couldn't have hurt anybody, because everything is slow. Like, those floats are moving like 2 miles an hour.
Yeah, if that. Because they want to make sure everybody gets to see it. And, of course, like, as you're going down, people are stopping to take pictures and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm glad he got caught.
I've been to a couple of parades, but my biggest memory is when I was in college, I went to Founders Day Parade. And I was standing in the front on the edge of the road. And, they had these floats and these, like, carriages and everything. And so there was these horses pulling this carriage. And they stopped right in front of me. And the horse took a shit right in front of me. Like, literally, I'm standing right here, and that horse was right here. And it shit. And I had to leave. Because that shit hit the ground so fucking hard.
Yeah, the horse's shit is, like, very liquidy, but, like, it turns like almost molten lava when it hits the ground because it's, like, solidifies and it's, like, plop.
And then there's a big, huge pile. It was like, plop. I was like, I'm going back to the dorm. I've seen all I need to see.
So that horse was just real disrespectful that day, apparently.
He was. I was like, my God, you could have done it. You done walked your ass all the way here. Just wait until you're in front of me to go ahead. You know what? This seems like a good spot.
Look at this faggot. Let me get him something to shout. Let me give him something to stare.
This is what he liked. Speaking of, I was on Twitter.
Oh, God. We'll go down a dark path right now.
I was on Twitter, and I'm like, scrolling down, and then somebody had reblogged. This one guy was like, so this dude's got some A1 pussy or whatever. And so I click on a picture, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like...
Before you finish, I am shocked that that's still a word in circulation.
I absolutely think it's a very unattractive word.
It is a very unattractive word, but I feel like they would have moved past calling it bussy by now. At first it sounded like it was just a little joke and they were going to stick with it and then it would just move on to the next thing.
It's still here. But I looked at the picture and I was like, okay, so I go to the person's page and like I didn't really pay much that attention to. I was like reading his fucking bio where he's like, where it says, I like to shit on dicks and I like for people to shit on my dick. And I was like,
oh my God.
I had to hurry up and get off that page. I was like,
I've gone through, and because I've gotten too many surprise attacks from people into scat and stuff like that, so I went ahead and I've muted people that I've seen like even jokingly, blocked and muted people that I've seen jokingly posting things like that, and people that like if it was reblogged by someone, I will mute and block the person that they reblogged, and then the person that reblogged it, I'll mute and block them too. Yeah. I am trying to make sure that I'm on a safe space when I get on Twitter, where I don't have to scroll past somebody. I will never forget the time that I was scrolling through Tumblr, and as I'm going through, it's like just a picture of this man with his mouth open and a ball of shit just in his mouth, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, just don't understand it.
Because for me, when you're not into that or attracted to that, when you see something like that, it literally it turns you off. Even if I was trying
if I
to
wanted
bust a
to
good
have
nut,
sex tonight, it's over.
Right? I apologize. We will not be able to continue this.
Yeah, killed the mood. So my trivia is Alabama was the first state to recognize Christmas as an official holiday, and the tradition began in 1836. So
Alabama did?
Alabama. I wouldn't have thought that.
I wouldn't have either.
I would have thought it would have been in New England somewhere.
Yeah, I would have figured like Alabama or places like in the deep South would have been like something new.
I would have thought they would have been one of the last.
Right.
I would have
not on my back 40, bitch.
Right. Because apparently the Puritans despised Christmas in the beginning. They thought because of course the Puritans are more religious. And so they, of course, was seeing Christmas, December 25th, as a holy day, and they felt like, being festive and eating a lot and doing all that was disrespectful.
It's like gluttonous.
Yeah, so they were very much against it.
So, now look at them.
Not here. Like, there's not much to look at. Did you see anything, or was it just that Alabama started it, and did it say like the path of like how it spread out to become like a national holiday all over, or? No, I didn't give all that information. That's all it gave me.
I'm gonna look that up. I'm very intrigued as to like I want to know, since Alabama, someplace in the deep South, was not the last to do it. It was the first. I want to know where was the last place?
Where was the last? Like, what was the place? It was like, no.
We said no. We fucking meant it.
I didn't even, because when you think about Christmas, you just think that's something that was always around, kind of, because it's just been around for so long. Mm-hmm. And so when you think of it being originally a holiday in the United States, starting with Alabama in 1836, which, the United States was founded, when did Columbus come?
I don't know.
Wasn't it like 14, 17? No, what is it? 17? Oh, whatever.
I'm about to say, you the one that know more than me.
Where I think that the United States started becoming colonized, I believe.
Colonizers.
Yeah, colonizers. I'm terrible with dates, though, so I'm the worst person to ask that. So I don't even know why I did. But just a quick Google, though, on year U.S.
The spirit of Massachusetts is the spirit of America. The spirit
1776.
I was trying to sing that for some reason. I felt like it would give me the date in the song.
Did you? I don't know why you thought that. The spirit of Massachusetts.
I don't either. Like in my head, as you're trying to think of the date, that song is playing in my head. I was like, "Can you give me the thing?" So I just started singing it.
Oh, the way your mind works. It's a miracle all song.
So my last four that I'm gonna go over are. Oh, this one is number 11. The Case of the Crazed Shoppers, New York.
That's every year.
Black holiday deals. Black holiday? Would it not be Black Friday?
Black Friday.
Anyway.
That should be a movie.
Right? Black holiday deals can be a motivation for braving the crowds and waiting in ridiculously long lines. But sometimes things can get a little out of hand. Nowhere was the truer. Then the Green Acres Mall in 2008, when hundreds were waiting for the doors to open with the promise of holiday savings. The crowd quickly turned into a mob, busting through the glass doors, oh my God, and trampling over an employee. And the most disturbing part, when it was announced that the employee had been killed, many shoppers continued shopping, complaining that they had been waiting in line all night.
Oh my God.
So I guess they killed this person and was like, that's not going to stop me here.
Right.
take it to the hospital.
That's fucking terrible.
But I wonder how they announced that she died. Did they just like hop on the intercom
Probably
like...
over the intercom. Well, employee.
Y'all have killed one of our employees.
I could only imagine. I would like to hear, like, if they had a recording of that PA system, what that message was and how did it sound, because I would like to know how was this announced to the fact to these people who probably was like, bitch, I don't give a fuck. Like Friday's deal.
Bitch, I don't give a fuck. You thought I cared, but I don't.
It's like, it'd be like Chicago. He had it coming. He had it coming.
That's fucking terrible. Number 12, the case of the stolen Christmas trees in Oregon. When the economy tanked in 2008, many families had to get creative when making do with a little less over the holidays. Others turned borderline criminal. In Oregon, for example, policemen in Portland caught a man dragging his stolen Christmas tree down the street at 3 a.m.
Oh my God.
But how did it know it was stolen? Can you not just cut down a Christmas tree and take it?
Like, where did he steal it from?
Yeah, that's what, like, I get, maybe like it was stolen and the person reported it and then they found this man was walking down with a tree and assumed.
Well, you can't just go out chopping down trees. You're not supposed to.
Okay. So it would have been a crime regardless.
It is a crime. People do that, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to get them from the tree lot. Mm-hmm. Because those of course, we can't just go around just cutting down trees. I mean, if it's in your yard or something, like if you got it out of your yard, of course you can chop down a tree in your yard. But you just can't go anywhere and just chop down trees.
Like, it was blocking my view. 13. The case of the terrorized Frosty float. It's supposed to be Snowman? Because that's a snowman.
Yeah, Frosty the Snowman.
Oh, you know what?
You're like, is that a snowman?
I did not even think about Frosty the Snowman. Like, I was nowhere in my head. I was like, why are we calling him Frosty?
Why are we calling him Frosty? What were you thinking of?
The thing that popped into my head was Jack Frost.
Oh, okay.
But I think because I'm a horror person. Not Jack Frost. Is that the movie? There was a movie called Jack Frost, right? Yeah.
With that evil snowman.
Yeah.
But still was a snowman.
But was nobody saying, is that Frosty? Running up on my porch.
I used to love that movie, Jack Frost.
I did too, a lot. And I'm shocked that nobody, I guess maybe it was too cheesy for people, but I feel like I'm shocked that nobody here tried to make a new version of it at all. As much as people are like remaking bullshit over and over again, I'm shocked that nobody has even touched Jack Frost at all.
I haven't really seen too many like Christmas remakes though. Like,
yeah, that's true.
No one's really been doing that.
I think they feel like people are so tied to their traditional Christmas movies
that
it's
probably best to leave
it the fuck alone.
Yeah,
walk off.
Like I although like I said, I do recommend Klaus. It was a really good movie. I liked the retelling of the story of Santa through this postman, and but I don't think I've seen any other like movies that are, like, because typically the newer Christmas movies are like just people being at Christmas, like
people existing.
Like, it's not so much about the old Santa and Rudolph and the stuff that you grew up watching. Nobody's really making that anymore. At least if they are, I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So the ones that I've been seeing are just like, like this single woman finding a man for Christmas. Like
single woman finding a man for Christmas.
Like, I don't want to see that. If I'm gonna watch a Christmas movie, I don't care about no sad single bitch getting married. Like, okay, girl. Like, me personally, because they like to do that with these love stories where you just find a man just in time for Christmas, just in time for Valentine's Day. No, because to me, I'm not gonna celebrate that with you. We haven't been together long enough. So I would need to have known you before Christmas.
Yeah.
I can't meet you the day before Christmas and be like, oh, let's celebrate Christmas together.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
That's weird.
We got our own lives to deal with. I don't even, because how would that even seem like? Okay, let's say you having like a holiday party with some friends, and then you just met this man on Christmas Eve. Yeah. And so on Christmas, you bring him in like, oh, well, this is my man.
This is my man.
What do you mean a bitch? Because I ain't heard of his name.
So that's why I don't understand that whole premise. And there's a lot of movies that's like that, where it's just like, oh, you find a man just in time to celebrate a holiday.
But that's as stupid as it is to us. That's something I'm sure a lot of people do.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, because that's why they call this time of year cuffing season, because people get in relationships around this time, and they break up before Valentine's Day.
Which, I'm like, so y'all, people stood up and complain about being single so much, but then you participate in shit like this. Mm-hmm. Because why do you think, this doesn't sound like realistic in my opinion. Of like you want to find somebody that you can grow old with or get married to and blah blah blah. But every year you want to get with somebody during the winter and then break up with them during the summer. And it's just like, how are you going to get a stable relationship with this girl? And my thing is, why do you need to be single to have fun in the summer? Like that sounds very problematic to me.
That's the I don't think that's the mentality. It might be for some people, but I think the biggest mentality is that people get really nostalgic around this time of year, so they want to spend that time with somebody, and then they'll just do it with whoever is interested. And then by the time they get past this time, they realize they really didn't like this person, and they break up with them before Valentine's Day, so they don't have to get them a gift. And my thing is, like I said, I wouldn't want to date anybody around this time of year because I already know that that's the type of mentality that's going around. Like, I just want somebody to lay up with and cuddle while it's cold. No. You gonna be in your own motherfucking bed because, first of all, unless when you are in a real relationship, when you really get to know somebody, they're not over your house spending the night every night in the beginning. Yeah. You know, in the beginning, y'all are getting to know each other. Y'all spend some time together, he go home. You know? I mean, to me, that's a thought life. Because if you're looking for a relationship, you're not having a man coming over every night fucking you and then, you know, in the beginning of the relationship. I mean, that's unrealistic. I mean, that's not how relationships work in the beginning. I mean, y'all gonna have sex and whatever. I'm not telling you to hold out. But, I mean, if he's only coming over to cuddle up and fuck and y'all ain't actually getting to know each other and y'all ain't doing anything else, that's not a relationship.
Well, why don't you just find a fuck buddy?
Yeah, why don't you?
Because if both of y'all are in the understanding of we don't want to be in a relationship whatsoever, but you got some good pussy.
Some good pussy.
Let's go ahead and let's just fucking cuddle up on the holidays, and then because we both if we both at the nostalgic situation, we just want to be with somebody. Okay, we can do that. And then if you don't want to be with this one person, if you have one or two other fuck buddies, you have your choices between them. Yeah. And that way you don't have to worry about breaking up with somebody before Valentine's Day or having to be single by summer. Just get you a fuck buddy and do everything you want to do, and then when holidays come around, you want to snuggle up with somebody, you got some options. Instead of getting a relationship, that seems like so much work and planning and unnecessary steps.
I think the biggest thing is I think people like the pretense of a relationship. They like the idea of it. They like to, but they don't like the work of it. Until you have to actually commit. And then that's when they want to kind of step away from it. Oh, I think this is too much for me. Well, you knew that before you started, because the thing is, you can come to somebody and then they already know in their head, like, okay, they already know who they are and what they want and what they don't want. But they'll go and they'll find somebody who is looking for a relationship, and then they'll tell them all the shit that make them think that they want the same thing, and then they'll be with you long enough to get what they want, and then they leave. And my whole thing is there are so many holes in the world. Yeah. If you just want to fuck, go get you one of them. There are so many people that just want to fuck buddy.
Yeah. And it's baffling to me that the people that want fuck buddies want people that want a relationship. Yeah. And it's just like, why, when you're talking to somebody and you see that person is heading down the conversation is always going down like, I want to be in a relationship. I want commitment. But you know that you don't want that. Just move around. Just either let them know up front, hey, I'm not looking for that, move the fuck around, go find somebody that. There are so many hoes on Grindr, Jacked, and all these other things that you can find that are just looking to suck your dick.
They don't want them. They know they can get them. That's the case. That's the problem. These people like a chase. These people like to go after somebody that they probably wouldn't normally get. I mean, you can go and get a hoe. That's easy. But the thing is, they want to go fuck around with somebody who has a self-esteem, who is put together and got their lives together and doing all that stuff. They want, and they like the fact that I can get that, and they like the work of it because they know that, okay, a hoe, I can text them the horse and they know to come over and suck this dick. And horse? Yeah, some people text a little horse emoji. Because, like for horse dick or whatever.
What?
Yeah. Or the eggplant emoji, whatever.
I've only ever seen the eggplant one. Somebody sent me a horse. Somebody come get this, and then a horse emoji. I'm like, oh, what? I was thinking you got a horse head in your bed.
Or the eggplant. comment or whatever, quick text that you got, and they just come right over. But they don't. They were like, oh, well, this person's for everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't want this person that's for everybody. Although you for everybody,
right?
But I don't want this person that's for everybody. I want this person that I can just get and I can fuck around with until I get sick of them, and then I move on to the next one.
That's so annoying.
Yeah.
But back to Mr. Frosty. Okay. We have diverted from him so hard.
Well,
but
nothing new.
The fact that the victim of a brutal Christmas stabbing happened to be a giant Frosty float somehow doesn't make it less disturbing. The perpetrators were 2 teenagers in the, I don't know, what is that?
Where?
Coleraine? Is that how you would say that?
Yeah, I guess Coleraine.
Coleraine Township area. They violently attacked with a knife the 12-foot figure in a resident's yard. Fortunately, these 2 were caught on videotape having committed the crime repeatedly and were eventually arrested and fined. So was somebody in it?
It doesn't seem like it.
The fact that the Christmas of a brutal Christmas stabbing happened to be of giant Frosty. So, what was the crime? Oh, I guess like defacing property.
Somebody's property.
Yeah, okay.
But my thing is, though, y'all trying to act like it was a murder.
Yeah. I'm confused because y'all made it seem like it was just such a terrible crime.
Yeah. I mean, it still wasn't good, but at the same time, I'm like, I do wonder why they felt the need to do that.
Yeah.
Was was it obstructing your view or something? Like,
it was on people's yards. Stop looking at their yard.
Yeah. I've seen plenty of those frosty things in people's yards.
Yeah, it's just an easy blow up thing. I think it's one of the basic things for decoration.
Yeah.
The last one is the case of the Santa break-in in Washington. If you're dressed as Santa Claus and plan on committing a robbery, it only makes sense to come in through the chimney, right? The less than foolproof logic was used by a man in Seattle as he attempted to rob a house. Before any real crime was committed, he actually got stuck in the chimney and had to be helped out by the fire department. The confused criminal claimed he was just trying to retrieve his backpack, but the story didn't fly with the police. They sentenced him to 17 months in prison. One can only hope these crimes remain baffling as they are, rather than becoming the norm. Have you heard of any... Oh, this is just the math questions. Feel free to change your thoughts with us, or share your thoughts with us. My thing is, though, that crime would have been easily debunked. He told me I was trying to get my backpack, but if you didn't find a backpack at the bottom of this chimney... where go, bitch?
I would have roasted his ass. He would have came with my motherfucking chimney. I would have lit that motherfucking fire. Bitch, okay, you want to play games? No, the police wouldn't have made it to him. He would have been char boy.
My thing is, though, that was also an issue, like we were talking before, like not believing in Santa Claus, because I'm like, bitch, what chimney we got? But even if you had a chimney, chimneys are not big. They're not thick enough for a fat man or really anybody to just be sliding down. No. And then once you get down that chimney, the area in which to get out of it is really only big enough to put the wood and the things to make the fire. Yeah. That's really it. So you're going to get down there, you're going to hit this wood and these metal objects. You have to roll up out of here.
It's a very unorthodox way of travel. Because, to be very honest, not only that, I mean, I can only imagine, because, I mean, that's a drop. That's not like a little, you slide on that. No, you drop and you falling. And, okay, say if you were skinny enough to just fall straight down, that's not going to be a good landing, because either there's wood right there, or or if the wood's not there, they have those little steel things that hold it up typically, which I feel like would not be a good place to land.
But then even if that, so let's say like chimneys are the opening area is probably about as big as this.
Yeah.
So then let's say my tall ass, I jump in there. Now what? My knees are the only thing exposed. How am I supposed to the area isn't that wide either. So now how are you going to maneuver your way to get at? None of this makes sense.
Now, if these are chimneys, fireplaces that are in Harry Potter,
oh yeah,
it would make sense, because full people walk straight into them and and just use what they call the flu network to travel, which I would love. I wish something like that was available. just step into the fireplace and go where I need to go.
Get you a time and space travel machine.
Please. Because it would make my life so much easier. And also, I'd be able to get so much more sleep.
Just wake up, get dressed, and hop on over. That's 20 extra minutes right there.
Right? Shit. So in 1647, the English Parliament passed a law that made Christmas illegal. The Puritan leader Oliver Cromwell.
Them Puritans go again.
Yep, the Puritans. Oliver Cromwell. He considered feasting and revelry on what was supposed to be a holy day to be immoral. He banned the Christmas festivities, and then the ban was lifted only when Cromwell lost power in 1660. So for almost 20 years,
only one man.
Yeah.
Has the power to do all this.
Well, he was.
Kill him.
He was the leader, but he's like, kill him. So in London, it was banned for almost 20 years. I think that's insane just because you felt
that was immoral. How about you just don't
celebrate it?
I mean, that's shit that's still happening today.
Well, yeah.
Just about really a lot of different laws that are just like, I don't feel like, or I feel this is immoral to, like, let's just say abortion. I don't want to get too deep into it, but a lot of people are finding that to be immoral. Okay, then, bitch, you don't get one. Yeah. Why is it? And it always kills me that a lot of conservatives are always like, I don't want the government in my business, but they want them in yours. When the government's in your business, it's fine, just not when it's mine.
Yeah, the thing is about morals, to be honest, it's a very relative thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's morals are different, which suits their lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So for you to sit up and want to say what's moral for all of America or for all of whoever, whatever designated area, is, to me, immoral. Yeah. But of course, because I'm not in power, don't nobody give a fuck that I'm saying that's immoral. But it's to me, morality is not a universal thing. Your morals is not the same as my morals, and we're best friends. But I'm very sure that there's going to be something that I feel very strongly about that you won't give a fuck about. Yeah. And same, and vice versa. And that's just life. But the thing is, you have to deal with, okay, well, you know what? You ain't got to feel the way I feel. And
I think that's the issue with a lot of people. Yeah. They don't have that. Oh, you don't have to feel what I feel. They have the, yes, the fuck you do. You need to feel what I feel, bitch. And if you don't feel it, I'm going to make you feel it.
And we know people like that. I know plenty of people who, if it comes to morals or like what they like to watch, their music taste, whatever.
Your brother. I'm only saying that because he literally just said something before we started recording the podcast about Facebook. He was like, you still got our Facebook?
Well, the thing is...
a lot of people are getting rid of Facebook.
But I want to know where he's getting it from. And the thing is about him specifically is he'll making a statement upon what he feels and thinks is fact. that doesn't work. Facts are not just what's in your head.
But let's say a lot of people are getting rid of Facebook.
Okay.
Let's say everybody's just trying to jump ship. What they got to do with me? If I enjoy Facebook, am I supposed to say, oh, well, if everybody leaving, I got to go too? Like, I'm not a follower. I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely not.
What's good for the goose ain't good for the gander all the time. Just want to put that out there.
So, I mean, and that's definitely an issue with just across the world is that, people who are feeling, that everybody should feel the way that you feel. And it's not how it works. We're all different. We all have different minds, and also different upbringings, which influence how we feel about the things that we do. So the thing is, it's okay. So you're immoral, bitch. You do your morals over there.
Yeah.
You be real moral on your side of the street.
Because people don't think about, like, just because it's my morals and you don't share them, now you're immoral. And yeah. Like, no, that does not equal. That's not how this works.
No, that's not how that works at all. To me, if what I'm doing is only affecting me and my body, what I do, it's just like I don't feel like people have the right to kill people, but I feel like you have the right to kill yourself. Do I recommend it? No. But that's your body, your decision. That's what you chose to do. Mm-hmm. And you ain't going around and shooting down everybody else along the way. Then that's just your decision.
I truly feel the only reason that's a crime, or I can't say it's a crime because you kill yourself, what you going to do? Lock my dead body up? Lock my dead body up. The reason that people have such an issue with it is because when you die, your bills get passed down to next of kin. I feel like if no money had anything to do with it, more people wouldn't give a fuck about you killing yourself. That's just how I truly feel.
I think the biggest thing with that is religion.
That too.
That's the biggest thing. I'm not religious. Like I said, I feel like whatever you're going through, you should be able to work through it. Mm-hmm. But then again, I don't know people's lives. I don't know what made you
see a way out of whatever
and
they're
if you
through.
And I can understand that. But my thing is that's not how I would handle things. There are times when I'm just like, you know what, please end it all. but I'm not finna go and lay in the bathtub and slit my wrist because that seems to be the thing to do.
The only place to slit your wrist is in the bathtub.
It makes me think of. Oh, remember I had you read that book, Rules of Attraction.
I listened to it, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same thing.
Yeah.
there's a movie too, but the book was so much better. But with the girl, I forgot her name. But the one that was so in love with that dude, and he wasn't paying her any attention.
It was 4 people, right? Or was it just 3?
There were a lot of characters in that book. Oh
was
my god!
I'm thinking that maybe the main. There's just certain main people. There was the gay dude.
There was the gay dude,
and then there was the girl who was in love with that dude.
Yeah.
Who was supposed to be straight, but then the straight dude was also having questionings about his sexuality with the gay dude.
Was he
gay or was he bi?
Hard to know. Like if you haven't read this book,
oh yeah, because
if you haven't read this book, and this is why I love the book so much. It's beautiful. I mean, it's greatly written, beautifully written. But the biggest thing about it is, okay, you got the gay character and you got the straight character. The gay character, from his, because it's written in each of their perspectives.
Yeah.
So when the gay character is talking from his perspective, they've had wild, crazy sex and they've done all of this. But when the straight dude talks in his perspective, none of that ever happened.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know if it was all in the gay dude's mind or if the straight dude was just so in denial
or just so drunk because he was a very heavy alcoholic.
Yeah.
Amongst other drugs.
But I honestly don't feel like.
And maybe
I've never been that drunk, but
yeah.
I feel like there's no way you could be that drunk where you can sit up and fuck a dude and be unaware.
There are those straight people that jump through all kind of mental gymnastics to not to not think that they're gay when they do something gay.
Well, I mean that would lead into his denial.
Yeah.
So it's either or, and the way the book is written. You don't know. It's all up to interpretation. So I can't even say if he actually had sex with him or not because both of them strongly believe what they believe.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know. But it's so greatly written that way. And I like it because it's realistic because there are people like that. Mm-hmm. There are gay men like that believe that this straight man really wants them. And there are straight men
and all that straight man did was say hi.
Yeah, all he said was hi. And even in the movie... where they kind of touched a little bit, they didn't get too far into it, but it's in the movie. It is shown that it's all in the gay dude's head. Mm-hmm. Like there was this one scene where they do start having this passion makeout session, and then you realize he's just like having a moment with a pillow as the dude is sitting in the room with him, and So in the movie is made to be all up in the gay dude's head.
Yeah.
But I think that's just because, movie. They don't want it to be too gay. And that was the 90s.
One thing that always kills me about movies, gay movies as well, like movies that are meant specifically for gay people and just like regular movies that have like gay scenes in them. Or TV shows. They make gay sex seem so easy.
Right, like you just fly right on in.
They make it seem like it's the same as straight sex. Because... they just be like, they will have done all kind of things. Like they went out to eat and then came back home and had a good, lovely time. And they're about to have sex. And it's just as easy as taking your clothes off and sticking it in. I'm just like, I ain't never seen sex happen this fast.
No.
There's all kind of, for gay sex, there's all kind of preparation.
Because a lot of it be like with dudes who are having gay sex for the first time. And
yeah.
For
and it'll be
just
an
for them to
ecstasy.
spit in their hand and just be like, okay, slide it in. And there's only one gay movie where it did a little bit more realistically. It's called Edge of 17, where this dude he was discovering himself as a gay man, and so he knew this older guy that was in college, and he had finally went to his first gay club or something. He was putting on makeup and he was doing all of that finally, and he decides to go to the dude's dorm in college and like. I'm sure he was planning to have sex, but I think he was very unsure whether or not he wanted to go through with it. But so go there, fill it out, see how it goes, right? And so he goes, and like, of course, the dude all of a sudden, okay, well, we finna fuck. It's here. The dude's roommate sleeping on the side of the room, and so he lets him know. He's like, okay, it's gonna hurt a little bit, and so. he does put the condom on or whatever, and he lubes up, and he starts sliding into the dude, and you just see. Of course, he has to be quiet because the dude is asleep on the other side. But at the same time, you just see how much it hurt, and that's the only time I've ever really seen
a real depiction.
Where it shows that first time it hurts, and because first of all you have no reference for that pain.
Yeah,
there's nothing else in your life
that felt
like that. So
there really is nothing else I can think of that has ever happened to me that feels like when your first time. Yeah. Even though my first time it didn't hurt. I've had times after that where it did, like that one dude, that Italian dude with that thick dick. Yeah. I was like, good God.
But I remember that conversation vividly.
But, so that was, did you have another Christmas trivia? Did you use your last one?
That was my last one.
Okay, well, we had our Christmas trivia episode for you guys. Hope you learned a bit about some good Christmas facts that happened.
Some other facts.
Things we trailed off on.
Yeah.
Want to wish you guys a lovely Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. What else is in winter solstice? What else is in December?
You said Kwanzaa, Hanukkah. I mean, that's about all I know.
Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, winter solstice. I think that's really it that happens.
What other pagan holidays?
Any other holidays that may be amongst the traditions here. Hope you have a good one, and bye.